Well, today is the 22nd, and I am looking for something. Anyway, today is the 22nd, a Monday, and we're at the Athens Regional Library in Ms. Prudence Taylor's office of the Heritage Room. And would you say your name once for me?
My name is Rolf, R-O-L-F, Roley, R-O-L-E-Y. I am of Southley descent. I'm a Scot, and my middle name is White, W-I-G-H-T. It is the same as the Isle of Wight in Virginia. My people were Virginians. Else.
Mr. Roley, would you tell me a little of your experiences during the era of World War II?
I graduated from high school in 1935 and matriculated at the University of Missouri in Florida at fall of 35. I studied mining engineering and stayed about in the middle of my class. At my graduation, I went to South America and was there until Pearl Harbor. As a matter of fact, I was in the midst of a Grand Slam bridge game, which I had bid, and we won a Grand Slam when the news of Pearl Harbor came over the radio. We were at about 12,000 feet in the central Cordillera, and I was working with and for a Canadian gold company. The U.S. gold companies had all been shut down because they didn't want to use the materials. But the Canadian companies, regardless what they were mining, were allowed to go ahead and buy materials, provided they sold their products through the U.S. This gave Canada an exchange rate with the U.S. so they'd have money to continue their part of the war. After Pearl Harbor, I stayed on there about another year and came back to this country, and the War Manpower Commission assigned me to the Evansville shipyard. That was a temporary assignment until they could find me a mine, which they did in about 2 months over in southern Illinois. And I was a chief engineer for the Olive and Swanson Coal Company. We had 4 properties operating and were developing a new one during the war. This was all directed towards the war, and I was on presidential deployment throughout the war. But 2 very, very strange things happened to me. The first one was in South America before I left the mountains. One of the first jobs I was given was to control materials for this mining property. And the first problem I ran into was the mill roof, which was sizable. It was about 400 feet by 400 feet square. And it was red and going bad. I was told to paint it or get it painted. And I ordered the paint from the city of Medellin, Colombia. When I ordered it, I didn't specify anything. I just ordered cloud paint. When it came, it was green. And we painted the roof with an oil green. Within about a week, I had heavy and work land on smokeless field. And they had discovered that Pocahontas coal from West Virginia would satisfy their smokeless requirement. So we arranged a transfer of wasteful as it was, and it was a real waste. We arranged for Southern Illinois coal to be sent to West Virginia, and Pocahontas coal from West Virginia sent back to St. Louis, and if that makes any sense, I'll eat it. But unfortunately, one day, one train complete van Brent engine entered I think it was 64 cars. It may have been 67. Just disappeared. They never found them. Still don't know where they went. They were on the L&M Railroad. They were L&N Railroad, which was both Louisville and Nashville. But we never found that engine. We never found those cars. And we never found that gold. It's gone. After that, I was more actively involved with the underground production of fuel. I was on several national committees, several national departments, and the last year of the war an all-time coal production record of 666 million tons of bituminous coal in the U.S., which was a record. Now, that's about all I can think of. You got any ideas?
That's a lot. Did you spend time around Appalachia then, in the coal producing areas?
No, not Appalachia. You see, now that's where the Pocahontas fuel came from. I was in the Midwestern field. I was in high coal country. It's called HIGH coal because it is from.
Do you recall where you were when some other notable events happened?
Maybe.
Yeah. For instance, D-Day, June 6, 1944.
Yes, I was underground, 1,200 feet down, 7 miles in, and we got a phone message that D-Day had started, and all of the men walked out. Now, I don't mean they walked out in anger. I mean they wanted to get home and celebrate. Most of the miners that I worked with, most of the men that I worked with in those mines in and around Madison and Macoupin County, Illinois, had sons, frequently 4 or 5 sons in service. So they didn't force around very much. It was a very serious thing for them. They wanted their boys back. I was deferred all the time and a very young man. I've often wondered why they didn't kill me off on the draft. But they never did. I never had anything but their fullest support.
Can you tell me how old you were in, say, 1944?
Well, I was born in 1918. So how old would I have been in 44? I can't push it out.
26.
I think that's right. Because the age of 26 had something to do with the fact. If you were 26 or over, you didn't have to get any deferments. The president's deferments were automatically extended. That's all I could have.
Do you recall say, the news of VE Day, the German surrender, or the Japanese surrender, VJ Day?
On VE Day, I was on top of the miner would say I was on the surface setting up some spatial bets for the railroad. And when the news of VE Day came along, everyone went home. There was no, they went home and they all came back the next day.
And VJ Day?
Same way.
Really?
Except I was under VJ Day. Those were real things. We didn't have anything we couldn't buy anything. Because of my position, I could get tires from my car, I could get gasoline, I could get all of those heavily rationed objects that a lot of people couldn't. But not a one of those miners whose sons were in the field ever said food and me about what I did. They must have thought I was doing what I should be doing. It must have been part of it. We lost a lot of boys out of those games. I lost a lot of friends. I have two friends on the Arizona yet. And several on submarines in the South Pacific. Some of this missing. But that's not what I came to talk about, is it?
Well, in a sense it is. I mean, I want to hear as much as we have time for. And, you know, I'm not going to quit until we decide together to quit. So, let me ask again questions I don't always have the chance to ask. I don't often get the chance to ask home front style questions about those.
But there's nothing wrong with being home front.
No, there's not. Can you tell me about labor relations during those years? Is that an unpleasant question?
No, I get a big kick out of these so-called baseball players calling what they call a strike. They don't have any idea how to strike. John L. Lewis, who was the head of the coal union, he had given him a lesson in how to strike. When he struck, the man went home. That was that day, at that time, if he said at 3 o'clock was going on strike, they dumped the water and home they went. Dumping the water is a coal miner's way of saying he's done for the day. If he doesn't have his water, he can't go on. So he dumps his water and goes home. But John L., what a pistol ball he was. He's from a little town. I think it's called Panama. Over in South Central Illinois. And one day a fella who had lost his leg in a mine was standing there with his support. I don't know what you would call him, chains or what. But anyway, he said something to John L. that made John L. mad, and John L. gave the chains and everything up from under it. He said, "Go get those, you son of a bitch. And you won't say that to me again." I apologize for the profanity, but that was the language of the time.
When did you first begin to work in the mines, or work with mining population?
Oh, well, my father was a mining engineer. Two of my grandfathers were mining engineers. I don't think I ever thought of anything else. They had other interests, business interests, but it was always mining. That's all I've ever done until about 1968, and that's way up to the range that you're interested
Well, I want to
in.
get as much How much of your life
Well,
history do we have
in
time for?
1968, I dropped all of my studies and work and stuck straight to forensic engineering, which is engineering applied to the law. That's what I get on to stand all the time, is testifying in cases.
I see. Is that if you can define that further for me, are the cases tending to be lawsuits or
Yes, they are. The lawsuits are the equivalent of being lawsuits.
and you're called as a consultant or to testify on one side
As
or the
an
other?
expert witness.
And you've been doing that since 1968?
Well, I have been doing it since 1940. I did my first case in 1940, but I didn't do it exclusively until 68.
Can you tell me about the I know how difficult engineering can be. Can you tell me about getting an education as an engineer? About where you were raised and educated?
Well, I went to the University of Tozzer, which was one of the leading engineering schools in the country, particularly for what we called in those days and still sometimes called hard engineering. It doesn't mean difficult. It means it is physical, mining, civil, that sort of thing. Was Colorado, Wisconsin, and one school out in Pennsylvania was a leading school for their types in the country. It wasn't difficult. I worked full time while I was going to school. I only spent out of my pocket, except for that money which I earned at law, $180 to get my degree. That was for a set of books and a set of drawing instruments.
Were you on scholarship?
No, working. Now, I don't mean that I didn't use the money that I earned working. That's the money I put to school in. But these kids they talk about, they dance for entertainment. Let them go get a job on a railroad handling a few railroad ties, and they won't have to take any exercises on any skip boats. The exercises are there in their work, but they won't work. They just don't want to work. You watch. They'll do anything to get out of doing a hard day's work. And I search the girl at the end of it. But
Where were you born?
in Plana, D-A-N-A, Illinois, Christian County. My people are Virginians. Mama got caught in Illinois. And I arrived in Illinois as a result of her having visited out of time.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I had one brother who was also a mining engineer, but he is dead.
When did he die?
1955. Yeah, 1955. He was the staff attorney for Gale County. He's the one that did all the patent work on the airbag.
It's a valuable thing to have worked on. Would you tell me about the rest of your family? Do you have any children?
I have one son who's 50 years old this November. My mother and father are dead. I had an uncle who was dead, and an aunt who was dead. Then and I have one cousin who is still surviving. Lives up in Tennessee.
And your wife, how did you meet?
Well, my first wife died in 1980. Back in 1950, I had done a job up in Newfoundland. And while I was there, I met socially a young lady that I thought very highly of. And after my wife's death, I waited a period of time and it went up and got this gal kid. She was still unmarried, so she is now married. She's the one who was here with him.
Her name is
Mary.
very much. Taking you back to the World War II era, what towns were you living near? Am I right in thinking they're in Illinois most of the time, or not?
No, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Indiana, Evansville, Indiana, Springfield, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Cairo, Illinois, Rolla, Missouri, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Am I right in thinking that these are industrial and shipping and rail
Well,
centers?
they are directly attached to or a part of something to do with mine production. Like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Honolulu.
You visited them. You lived in those as well?
Oh yeah, I have lived and worked in every state in the Union except Utah.
You must not have minded traveling very much. You must.
I love it and love it to this day.
It sounds to me also as if you worked with all sorts of folks, particularly in rail and in shipping then?
I've worked with what I would consider to be the finest group of men I've ever seen any place. They were top white all the way. I never met a bad one. They were mining people, railroad people, heavy industrial people. But they were fabulous people to meet with and to work with and around. No divorces, none of that malarkey. These guys went out and did a job. And you could walk in and say, one of them, you gotta go, Joe, where mom's up. Okay, I'll see you in a couple weeks. That was the way we fought and the way we worked. There wasn't any big problems. I'm sorry for any other questions.
No, it's a great interview. Once World War II ended, did you feel times got harder again, or did you feel?
No, the end of World War II was just a change in another mining company. We got away from one kind, got into another kind. I can't ever remember not having at least 2 jobs. That is due to activities going on.
Did the demand for coal decrease after war
Yes,
production
yes.
decreased?
Yes, and now I do not have the number, but after that 666 million ton production, I think we were losing 50 million tons a year for several years. Then, of course, Korea came along, and that kicked it all back up into high gear again. But I've never been unemployed right now, and I'm retired. And I tell hell with them.
leads to a very obvious question. Tell me about moving to Athens. What brought you here? Where are you living here?
Down in Madison, Georgia, there's a great big white house on the north side of the street. After you come in and straighten around, my wife saw that house as my first one. So I bought it, remodeled it, and it's now used in all of the Georgia standards everywhere. But she developed pretty denser, and couldn't get around too well in it. So I built her a place out in the country that had just as many rooms, but all on one floor, and the doorways were all wide, so she could get through the windows and everything. It was what you would call a perfect engineer's house. Everything automatic was push button. She died. I've been married, and I asked my new wife where she would like to live. She said, well, I don't want to live where it's too hot, and I don't want to live where it's too cold. And I said, well, what about something kind of in the middle? I said, I've got to be around a library. And we settled on Athens, moved here, and that's it. We've been ever since.
What year?
81.
And when did you move to Madison, Georgia? How long did you?
1970.
A long time. When did you first visit the area? When did you first visit?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I bought a lot of kale down in here early. I suppose well, of course, one of my ancestors fought in the Confederates down through here. So I followed his trail a little bit. But I never paid anything to the state line. I think those are a product of politicians that can't see all motivation.
Where have you enjoyed living the most?
Wherever I am at the moment. When you get to be my age, it is remarkable how nice it is to awaken in the morning and know you're still there.
Would you tell me something about the voice box?
Oh, that's it. Certainly. I smoke too much. I smoked a hell of a lot. And finally, they had to take the larynx out. That was in 1976. And it's been out ever since. But I get along all right. And if I don't want to talk to somebody, they get it all mixed up like that. Somehow I've got a feeling not much of this is going to be in the tape.
Well, I'm not editing these at all. I'm simply making this for an archive, and I'm trying to get as much material as I can of all kinds. And we use this World War II topic as a jumping off point to gather as much material and as many stories as I can gather. Now, with that in mind, are there some stories you can tell me that I should have heard by now?
That are off limits. My supply is during high school and through college, I was a vocalist with a band. Now, it wasn't the kind of bands they have today. We actually played music, and that had a melody to work with and words to work with, and I enjoyed that very much.
pursued that
Okay.
subject. Singing in a band is something that has immense appeal. Do you recall any favorite material or one song you like more than another?
Careless was one of my favorites. I forget the name of those band leaders. Eddie Howard, I worked with him. Big Tozzer, I worked with. And I can't think of that one fella as well. And I worked with my wife, and she was here, she can tell you all about him. I have a few of those tapes, one or two of them, but I got paid $500 in 1942 for singing the song Careless with Eddie Howard's band in St. Louis. At a rehearsal, they were recording at a rehearsal at the getting the name of the hotel now. But I got $500 for that recording, and to this day, you can tell the super like that. And he's good, he's dead now, I think. But there's only one place that I can sound just exactly like him, and that's why they like me.
When did you begin to sing? How old were you? Were you singing when you were a child?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. In high school, I did Gilbert and Sullivan. 4 years, we did it in stock. Each has been a four in a Mercado, Girl, the Golden West. And when I went to church 7 times on Sunday. I got up early in the morning and would go to the Catholic Mass, and then I worked all day long down to the other churches until that evening I finished up in the Baptist. I got all of the cotton pick church I ever wore. But I was getting sometimes a quarter, sometimes 50 cents for each church. That was big money.
Well, that's right. You've mentioned to me that you enjoy being around the library, and you've mentioned that you've moved around some towns. I imagine you've seen some newspapers in your day.
Yes.
I'm wondering what your favorite reading matter is, and if you remember newspapers in particular or books in particular that you enjoyed reading more than others.
I suppose my favorite book was Anthony Edwards. I think that would probably be my favorite. Or a book called The 40 Days of New Sada. I don't suppose you know either one of those.
I've heard of the first one. I don't know the second one.
Those were two favorites of mine. I enjoy a lot of English poetry and some American poetry. I try to like Longfellow, but I find it very difficult to enjoy him too much, except in certain poems. I suppose everybody has to have a favorite poem, and I suppose mine is Thanatopsis. And that's about all.
Let me throw out a few more names and see. Of course, the first name I tend to throw out is Roosevelt. FDR. If you'd like me to turn this off, I'll...
Like the question about Roosevelt, I consider him to be the worst dum-dum we ever had as the president. He had to end the depression, and he did it by taking us into war. think that yo-yo peacock now is going to do the same thing. It is too bad people like that can they get so much power. Next name. Love it. Love every bit of him. Love the way he throw his head back and say, now that's all, boys, the bug stops here. He was a man's man. I'm very fond of the story that his wife Bess tells when he was accused of having called something fertilizer. And she said, my, don't say anything to him. You should see how long it took me to get him to get the fertilizer. Next name.
Let me dwell on that for a moment. Do you recall having heard of Truman when Roosevelt died? Do you recall that you had heard of him as vice president? Do you recall any opinion of how you felt of him 50 years ago? Because, as you recall, Roosevelt died of an illness, a year into his term.
Roosevelt died of it. You're not on, are you?
Yeah, I am. I can turn it off.
When you speak of Truman, to me, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were very close friends with the Trumans. They were from Missouri, knew each other well, but didn't really like each other. When Bess Truman decided to remodel the porch on the Capitol, I thought my mother-in-law was going to have a fit like that. But my father-in-law, while he did not like Truman, had a great respect for him. Truman, always had an answer. I never will forget. There was a railroad strike on. I don't remember exactly when it was. But Truman came on and told Congress and said, "You've got wallopers, can't even get a handcar in and out of Chicago, and you call yourselves legislators." And I always wrote that thing. That's about all.
Well, were there people you had to deal with during the World War II era in the administration? I may ask names I haven't been tossing out too much. Did you encounter people like Harry Hopkins or the people who administered Roosevelt's alphabet soup
No,
agencies?
not usually. Now you're into a different type of administration for me. Now I knew the mining people, all of them. I knew John Hale. I knew all of those folks, and I was very young to have known the ones I did know. I was on several national committees, and was doing a lot of writing. I wrote for a magazine called Mechanization, and one called Utilization, both of them published in Washington. You'll find articles and papers in there by me. I did a lot of publishing. But I would say, I really believe that my favorite magazine of all time, as far as plain magazine, was Liberty. I don't know why. It had something to do with its size. It was smaller than the other magazines, but larger than the Reader's Digest. In fact, Liberty was, I guess it was 8.5 by 11, come to think about it. I don't know that to be true, but it was a smaller magazine. I love Esquire. And and I'd love to watch the girls. They were something to see. That's what
Can you tell me some more about John L. Lewis? My experience is pretty limited. I visited West Virginia. I'm interested in hearing about him. I've heard mining songs from people like Pete Seeger, you know, the people who sang folk music with quotes around it. But,
well, John L. was a miner himself, and he climbed up out of the ranks and headed the UMWA, which is the United Mine Workers of America. He was a very unforgiving man. If you did something to John L., you would expect sooner or later you were going to pay for it. He loved his gold miners, and I remember once, and I was at the table with, it was John L., I can't think of the other. We were at the Abraham Lincoln Hotel in Springfield, and something was said to him about his bike, and he said, "No, you misunderstand. You don't understand strikes." He said, "I may lose half of my people to unemployment or to other unions, but he said the half that I have left will be the highest paid people in this country." And they always were. He was a very dictatorial person, he and his daughter both. I don't know whatever happened to her. Really don't. But strip mining kind of took over from John L. He never could control the strip miners because he never could control their water. Remember what I said about water? See, the strip miner doesn't have to have that water. And that was the way John L. controlled his life.
say it again.
He never could control the strip miners because they were on surface and they'd have a water jug wherever they wanted. If they dumped it out to me, they would get another one over there. But when they were underground, if they once dumped their water, they were completely captive to him. And that was the way, I'm not even sure that John L. realized it, but that was the way he controlled his miners.
Did they know anything about black lung, brown lung, those things that popped up later in the 60s?
They knew something happened. I had a grandfather die of brown lung. But mining then was so different than it is today. And that is something that really is important. We are pushing ourselves further and further and further away from the coal industry. Sooner or later, there'll come a day when we'll need that coal. Where are we going to get the miners? Because as we lose the coal miners, what's going to happen when we're all gone. It's a real serious thing to think about. Some of the state agencies, Illinois Geological Survey, where I worked for a while, some of those places are beginning to worry about it. Where you're going to get the floors from, where you're going to get the limestone, where you're going to get the titanium, where you're going to get the iron, where you're going to get this. Always remember, if you can't grow it, you got to mine it. And with that, I'll let it roll.
Well, no, I'm really interested because I often ask people how have things changed, and some of my best friends are geologists, and one of them I was hanging with this weekend. In the spirit of that, though, it seems to me labor changed quite a bit. I mean, I'm really searching for a question.
Are we on?
We're on. I can turn us off.
The problem as a coal miner sees it is that we have gotten away from the idea of self-sustaining world. You know, this world is all we've got. I'm not sure you remember, but if you divide the rate of increase, say it's 7% increase into 70, you get the number of years it takes to double whatever you're talking about. In other words, if you're increasing a population at the rate of 7%, you will double your population in 10 years. But what are we going to do? And this is not meant, you know, we have some places in this world that can outbreed a rabbit, and they're coming on. Where in God's name are we going to put them? Where are we going to feed them? They talk about this running out, that hell, it's all running out. There is nothing we have this day surplus. They talk about taking the unemployed and retraining them for what? What in the hell can we put them to doing today that there's not already unemployment in the field?
I don't have an answer, but
there isn't any answer.
Well, I hope we'll continue to work one up.
No, we're going to have to kill them off.
Well, that may be.
That is what I think age will do. I think that will be the benefit of age. Every bad disease has the benefit. And I think that's the one for age.
Well, that leads me to ask a more politic question then, about health care. And do you remember the sort of health care that was available in the 1940s? I imagine a lot of the medical corps had actually, I'm sure the younger folks had gone overseas.
That's when I was a student in high school. I had 3 local doctors taking good care of me. I was working for them on Saturdays and Sundays and nights and everything else. They got together and told me that if I would do it, they would send me to Germany father to take out was sick in 3 weeks. To go back. Out that 3 weeks, he won't do what he did the prior time. That'll come 2 more times that time. And he'll go through 4 or 5 or 6 documented treatments for which he is getting ready. You're getting nothing. I was told, my friend was told that I was dying of diabetes. So, I started taking insulin. One night I woke up in the middle of the night, and I said, what in the hell am I taking this insulin for? Because it's just coming up to even out what I ate yesterday. So I cut down a time, started losing weight with the insulin, and I no longer have diabetes.
Sharp.
No, it's not just being plain damn selfish bull-headed.
Let me ask you a question about the work you say you've been doing with trials and being on call as an expert witness. Are there any that stand out? Any of those trials? Any that bear retelling? Any?
Oh my gosh. I hold several documentary records. The largest highway pavement ever made was made on places I was the only expert testifying. That was in West Palm Beach, Florida. That was 14 billion. That's not 14 million. I got records in all the states. Except Utah. Never added. My company had a trial in Utah. One of my early partners tried an case out there. Came back and said, don't ever go out to that state for nights. And I never did. I've always kind of advocated that we ought to have 4 United States of America. We ought to have the southeast, the northeast, the northwest, and the southwest. And each one of them should have its own capital. What in the hell do we do with a capital in Washington, D.C. or a senator from Washington State? Or somebody spends all of these time riding on an airplane. Now you're getting me down to where I can talk about things I don't like.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I want to capture some of this. Is there anything else you don't particularly like?
I don't like the attitude of people who encourage discourtesy. I don't like people who trample on ethics and honesty and simplicity. Those people I don't like. And if given a chance, I'll beat the hell out of them and get them in a dark room. But I guess I gotta stop doing that now that my age is catching up for me. Still got a pretty good right hand, so.
Let me ask you this about the past. Did you have any heroes? I'm guessing John L. Lewis may have been. Nope, you knew him too well. Did you have any heroes at all? Were there any heroes to you?
Yes, I had some heroes. Most of them were dead. Some of you probably never heard tell of. But of the living ones, Clarke was always been kind of a hero to me. After the war started, I was kind of backed off from him, but up till then, he was pretty big stuff. I slept well with it, that's about it.
Well, I'm just as interested in those guys I haven't heard of. Can you elaborate?
There was one man called Carlos Marcos who truly gave his life for the people of an area in Colombia. Marcos was a real man. Small man. But he found out what was killing these people and literally took it to himself and walked out with it so they wouldn't kill anymore. But I don't know, Balboa was the kind of a hero. The guy that conquered Mexico, I can't think of his name.
Cortez?
Cortez. I like Cortez. I think my favorites, never thought about this way before. I think my favorites were the men who went after water. I believe that those fellas who chased potable water or water that they could make potable were heroes to me.
Did you believe there were villains in those days? Did you
mean politicians?
Well, I asked about heroes. I'm asking about villains because it seems that Adolf Hitler was an easy villain in a lot of ways. But did you believe in villains? Were there bad guys?
I never thought of that. I was always trying to just get ahead a little bit more, do it a little bit better. I do have one objective in mind. I always like to leave any place better than what I found it. That's easy to do.
Well, I often wind up these interviews, and I'm not suggesting we wind up, but my last question is usually, of the World War II era, if you're talking to a younger audience, and you've hinted at this already, I'll let you go back to it though. If you're talking to younger people for whom World War II is just history, what do you think is most important of that experience? Pat, go on.
Latin first, Latin second, Latin third. That was a real man.
You liked him, huh?
I knew his chief of communications. Knew him well. In fact, had a whole understand when he died.
His name?
Let's leave that out.
Yes.
He said down in Tennessee. But my God, the stories he could tell about Latin and what Latin did, he stole it away. He said that I'm the only person that ever had to bathe to fight World War II. But basically, I'd say I think that's like MacArthur. And love Latin. Now there's a fair point.
What'd you think of Eisenhower?
Great, but not Latin.
And Bradley?
Oh my, yes. It's great, but not Latin. Montgomery, they ought to bury him out in the privy.
As a coal man, did you follow the Navy? Did you have an opinion of admirals or fighting men in the Navy or anything like that?
Why did you preface that with as a coal man?
I was reaching.
But usually especially the Navy. By the time World War II had come along, the Navy had converted most of its coal-fired equipment to oil. For example, the that's the problem of the age. The Arizona. My father's nearest friend was on the Arizona in World War I. They converted it to oil, and 3 of my friends were on the Arizona when it was anchored at Pearl. And they're still there. So I don't think of the Navy as coal. It used to be. It used to be. And it was a hell of a lot safer as coal-fired equipment. You know, they think now that the loose titanium is something as a result of coal explosion in the coal bin. I don't know. Nobody ever told me. But I gotta mention one more thing. The greatest newspaper in the world, the Chicago Tribune.
True.
What a damn bunch of people they had working for. That was great. So I'll leave you with that.
If you could, I'm reaching for another question. I gathered you were a drinking man at one time.
I sure as hell was. Yes. I could drink anything, everything, and then start all over and do it again. My favorite drink, of course, was tequila. But then I like any of the Southern whiskeys, Scotch, gin. Come to think about it, any of I didn't like.
Any people you met along the way who stood out and that we haven't touched on?
People let us down. Yes, I'd say the Reynolds boys. David Lewis, that bunch, the 4 brothers, who were nephews of the smoking grandpa. R.S. and R.J. R.S. was the father of the 4, and R.J. was the tobacco man. They were certainly something to think what they did in their lifetime, with the old man borrowing $500 on his furniture for the first piece of aluminum that metals ever poured. He borrowed $500. Then there was the guy that really made them what they were, and that was a lawyer by the name of Weiss. He later, which is not too long ago, was ambassador to Australia, Walter Rice. Quite a guy. Then there was a fella that worked for Freeport Sulphur. Give me a second, I'll think of his name. better shut her off because it's going to take anything.
How about, go on.
But
I thought I'd better ask you for a little more information about your parents. Could you tell me something more about their generation, what you remember of your parents?
well, they were, my father, of course, like his father, was connected with the mining business. They were mining engineers, but they were also truckers and teamsters. My grandfather raised and trained teams for winning brothers tournament. They not to show horses now. These are the work horses. And I have seen him as a small boy load 50 teams of horses onto flat cars and cribs and sent them to Florida for Lincoln Brothers. They were horsemen. And other side of all miners. See, I never got a chance to do anything but be a miner. If I had said anything about wanting to write for a newspaper, it'd all beat the hell out of me.
Well, it sounds to me you've also done some engineering in your time. Do you have any famous engineering tales or great engineers you admire, or any experiences in
No,
that they're retelling?
I have built my share of projects. I've built 200 miles of highway, several major bridges, several large dams, no buildings, no ships. I've run a steamship line that's not a steamship. Oh, what the hell do you call it? I have barges and tugs and things like that. I can run a line like that.
Right.
I've run a couple of branches. Climb up and for some other reason, then have to run them until it gets set them up. That's about all I'd want my son to know about me.
Is there any city that you visited that struck you as being a little odd, a little worse that you?
What about the best?
What's the best city then?
The best city I have ever been in was Monterrey, Mexico. Now this was many years ago. As the words of the song. But I love that town. I also love Sofia, and I love Sofia. Now whether you know it or not, those are the three cities of Pancho Villa. That's where Pancho Villa headquartered. He headquartered in a place called La Baja in Sofia. I love those cities. But most of all, Monterey.
And have you been able to travel outside the States? I'm thinking Mexico now, but have you been to other countries?
Well, I've been to Europe 11 times. I've been into the Orient. I've been into, I shouldn't call it the Orient. I should say, I've been into the Holy Land. I've been into, I guess I've tried to hit Europe, U.S., all over South America. And I can still speak Spanish.
Which one has the best engineers?
Of the cities, of the states, of what?
Where do you think good engineers come from? Let me phrase it that way.
The born. It wouldn't make any difference what you had done with Herbert Hoover as a small child. He would have ended up running a line someplace. He's an engineer and a good one.
Herbert Hoover.
Yeah. The guy that I was trying to think about a minute ago was named Forbes Wilson.
That was Patton's man?
No, that was the man who I was listing as one of the men I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't think that he was with Freeport Software.
Thank you.
And he was quite a guy. But I worked for him in Colombia and also in Cuba. But it doesn't make any difference where you go. You ask about the best engineers. I would say probably the U.S.
How do you feel about the Army Corps of Engineers?
Don't ask that.
All right.
They spend too much time playing with things instead of fixing them.
Any place you'd like to go back to?
Oh, I guess. I'd like to go back to northern Mexico. But the folks who are there now tell me it's all changed. I'd love to see Monterey one more time. And there's a little town. This is a little bit for him. There's a little town in the country of Guyana, which used to be called British Guyana. And it's on the south bank of the Berbice River. It has the world's oldest private club. And I'm a lifetime member. Believe it or not, it's called the Berbice Reading Club. They own one book. It's in on a table about the size of that, under glass, and you can't get into it. But they've got one book, and they've got a green art block. Now, do you know what green art is? It's the kind of timber close to 110 and 20 feet tall. And they have a bar made out of one slab of green art, about that big, about that wide, and in front of 100 feet long. Not a crack in it. They have 4 rooms where you can stay, and 500 or 600 bottles of booze of every kind. Not many people even know that that place exists.
I'm going to ask you a food question.
What?
A food question. I often ask, what were people eating 50 years ago? I guess that's the simplest way for me to phrase it. What were you eating 50 years ago?
About what I eat now. We had a lot of corn on the top. We had navy beans served as soup and or vegetables. We had bananas. most of it. You could find other things in the restaurants. We had Chinese restaurants. Never saw a Japanese restaurant in this country. Take that back, did in San Francisco. But that's about all I can tell you about food.
Well, I guess I'm going to wind this up, but I'd like to ask when the last time you sang a song was. You mentioned singing in a band. What was the last music you were?
The last time I sang with a band would have been in 1946, I think. No, it would have been earlier than that. It would have been 1941. Why? As I was leaving school, I sang with a band. That was all.
Well, I've been truly interested. I play banjo and sing myself, so I learned a little bit about John Lewis and labor history through Pete Seeger and some of those songs like Harlan County and Which Side Are You On? And that's
now, John L. didn't take much to do in Harlan County. John L. was more in Illinois, Indiana, and western Kentucky instead of eastern Kentucky. They wrote songs about him every place. Oh, I should mention that I had lunch with Einstein one time.
Please go on.
I'd forgotten that. But I mentioned John L. and we were at the Plaza Hotel. This guy Rice, I think, at me and Einstein and can't think of the other fellow's name. He was a big shot politician. Jim Farley. There was Walter, Jim Farley, Einstein, and me at the table. And we had a lovely lunch. Einstein never did burn things on his head. I have a trinket that I bought from the University after he died. They had a sale of personal property, and I bought a foot candelabra that are very, very cheap. They cost me $3,500, and I imagine you could buy them at any store for maybe $10. But they were Einstein.
How did he seem? Did he seem preoccupied somehow? Was he there in your conversation?
He wasn't at all preoccupied. The man was. He was I'll put it this way, he was lonesome. That's the nearest I can come to describing his actions and his feelings.
Well, I thought of another name from that generation and those military men. George Marshall?
Never knew him.
Yeah. Just think of that Marshall Plan. So sometimes, especially, I toss that name
Now,
out.
I